Okay, it's Monday. We're on day one of this weekly vlog, and last week I really struggled with motivation to train. So having a day off yesterday was great because it really gave me the chance to just look over and be like, right, what can I do different? How can I get myself more motivated? And I basically came to the conclusion that I don't think I was really pushing myself hard enough, and that actually I get a lot of satisfaction from pushing myself to do things that I don't think I can do, and that creates motivation. And I think last week I kind of went back, not massively, but I went back a little bit into waiting for the motivation to be there before I took action. I think towards the end of last week I just lacked the intensity that I normally have, and that it's normally the intensity that brings the motivation, and it just wasn't there last week. And that's okay. That's kind of why I like having Sundays as my day off, because it gives me the time to look at it for the next week. And my day off changes each week, so like this week it's going to be a Thursday, but that's where we're at. So this morning I have 6:15 like warm up, off ice jumps, and then I have a lesson at 7 because the day off is Thursday this week, and normally my lesson's on a Thursday. So I have a lesson at 7, which is a really beautiful way to kick off a week. I have a second session at 8:15, which is a training session. Now, warming up properly is one of those things I will hands up say that I neglect doing. And not to say that I neglect warming up, I always warm up, but neglect actually making the most of warming up, because warming up is such a good opportunity to activate the right muscles, find the right technique, so that when you get on the ice, you are good to go. This week I really wanted to focus on making the most of my warm-up, especially to find my jump technique, especially because I had 2 early lessons, so I wanted to just be able to get on and be in the right headspace, and also that it's so much easier to just get on and be focused and find a flow state in your training on the ice once you're warm and you're focused, which is the perfect thing to plan your warm-up around doing. Now, my first session was very much planned around my lesson, and once I was in the zone after my lesson I didn't really get my camera out, but in the second session I did film some spin training. I put a question box on my story to see what you guys wanted to see, and you did say, many of you said that you wanted to see spin training. So right now I'm currently learning my butterflies, and if you follow me on Instagram, probably by now you will have seen I've posted a reel about how I plan my spin training and how I train my spins, so that it's not boring and it is not tedious. So here is me using that exact strategy right here. The key to this is breaking your spins down into different features and ticking off each feature as you go. So then when you can take your spins out of a program and out of doing the whole spin, you can practice each feature individually and know where you're likely to get things called in competitions and where your biggest loss of points could be. Post-training hair can only mean one thing, and that means a good training session. I'm just trying to I could just use my stand, but I'm trying to precariously balance my phone. So, post-training hair. I've been using scrunchies on my hair recently, just because it feels like scrunchie season. And you can tell that I've just had a hard training session because my brain is talking absolute waffle. Absolute waffle. Absolute waffle. Plan how much time I need when I'm planning out my week, and then I add 15 minutes because I don't do things remotely fast sometimes. I actually managed to get on 15 minutes earlier, which gave me more time, and I literally had just got through my full warm-up in terms of jumps and spins in time for my lesson, so that was good. And then I was really locked in. I think it's also because I have so much going on that I don't have the spare energy to get distracted, and it's a really great pro of being so busy. Like right now I'm in the middle of trying to set up like a business and do content, and then I'm also working like 3 jobs on the side. So there's a lot going on, and I've really got to a point where I've been able to turn it around to work in my favour. Sorry, I'm just looking at myself in the camera, and that's really not a pretty look. Ice cut, I even made, because I was still pretty in the zone, I even managed to make the time to make my lesson and feedback notes. And it's more a case of I don't write notes of what I did, but more like what from my lesson, what can I add into my practice routines and things like that. And I need to make a brief note because I only kind of need to consciously think about it 2 or 3 times before I either don't need to be doing these exercises anymore and they're more of a reminder. I don't have to consciously remind myself to practice these things because it's just I already have a routine. I like to think of it as like, I've got this routine of like 100 things, let's say 100 little things that I just add one thing in, and like the whole routine hasn't changed. So it doesn't feel like this massive change. I'm just adding points into my routine at various parts that for 2 or 3 days I have to consciously think about doing an extra step before it's just part of that routine. So that's kind of how I make my lesson notes. It's more a case of exercise, where does this fit in my training structure? And then that's literally it. So I managed to do that in the ice cut, and I also managed to take some shots and draft them. That sounds so bad. Take some shots, take some content shots and draft them in my Instagram stories, which saved me a lot of time for later, because I have so much to do today, and it's a Monday, so I'm back at one of my part-time jobs, and then I need to get my headlamps changed as well on my way back from work. Yeah. I don't normally have all of my lessons at the start of the week, but this week's a bit different. So the last couple of days have definitely been solidifying a lot of technical skills and a lot of mental work, and I made a commitment to myself this week that I was going to get my spins down, and I was going to put a big chunk of work into my spins. And it's tedious, but it doesn't feel like physically out of breath demanding work, because it does feel like a lot of muscular work and a lot of thinking. Although sticking out the boredom of having to practice spins is definitely paying off, as my spin features have really started coming along, especially in the last few weeks. Now this is the end of a combo spin that I'm still trying to put together, so that's probably the only thing that I wasn't so happy with in terms of what I managed to tick off today, but all round it was a success. I've got to be honest, I'm not feeling my finest self today, guys. I'm just sat in my filming position for the day. You can't really see my head. I had my phone the other way around because I was filming some Instagram reels, but the lighting's really good here, so we're just going to stick here. Today very much can be summed up by, on the days that you give 20% and you only have 20%, you gave 100%. And I could sit here and say I'm not happy with it, but you know what? If I had more to give today, I would have, because I really, really tried. And I know that everything I'm feeling towards my training right now, like yesterday I felt so happy, but everything I'm feeling towards my training right now is only coming from a place of love, and it's coming from a place of knowing that I can be better and wanting better for myself. And I've really learned to appreciate that. On paper, and this is why I love tracking my sessions, and I really like doing this video diary style thing, because I can sit and reflect and talk it through and make it make sense. Like, I ticked off a lot, but I think I don't feel like I'm pushed. Like, I feel like I have more to give, and I have more that I can push myself on a day-to-day basis, and I haven't found that yet. And it's not that actually giving more is hard, but working out how I can activate that place in my mind where I can really push myself and really give more is, I feel like I need momentum, and it's kind of building right now. So I had an early lesson as well, and I had a late night last night. So the best way I can explain it is I didn't feel sharp on my jumps. Like, I was there, but I didn't feel like I was actively working all the muscles in the way that I was yesterday. And after realizing that and saying that to my coach, the session after, I was like, right, I'm on it. Like, I was so much more switched on. And this really comes down to like designing my warm-ups better, but I've definitely got better in the last couple of days at using my warm-up time efficiently, not just to physically get my body warm so that I don't get injured and all of that, but to activate the right muscles and to get in the right headspace, because warming up is so much more than just getting your body warm. It's about getting the right muscles activated so that when you get on the ice and when you're on the ice, you step on the ice and you have a job to do. And that's really the journey I've been on the last couple of days, and it's definitely been a success. Wednesdays tend to be a really quiet day at the rig, so they're a much better day for me to run programs and get in the zone. So having Thursday off is going to be a nice day for me to recover, but Wednesday, so tomorrow, is going to be program heavy and sections heavy, and then Friday morning is also going to be sections heavy, and then Friday evening tends to be whatever I can get done. It's more for the discipline of showing up, but Friday evenings are chaos. I cannot even explain it. I am feeling ready for today. Like, I actually am excited about programs and section work and all of this stuff, and I managed to get myself out the door a bit quicker this morning, which is handy because I could do with a bit more time to warm up. Like, all of my little muscles are really hurting, and it's not in a way that I've really like pushed myself to the point that I can't breathe on my sessions recently, but it's more that I think I've been doing a lot of technical work that's forced me to like use muscles that I don't normally use. So like in my shoulder blades and my elbows, like in my hips, and my glutes are really sore. And afterwards I've made it so that I have time to spend a bit more time in the gym and cooling down, and I'm also going to get on the treadmill and just get some steps in and kind of like walk out my muscles afterwards, because I used to do that and it was really handy. Like, it just really helped. And I also have a lot of editing to get done, so I'm going to mix those tasks together. The next section of this video is going to be a follow along flexibility session, so feel free to pause and follow along with this workout, or equally make notes on your phone. I would save a note on your phone that's just full of flexibility workouts, so that next time you need to stretch out, you already have your workout laid out. It makes it so much easier. Having a workout already written out takes the guesswork out of doing it, so that all you have to do is focus your energy on doing a stretching routine and not thinking about what you have to do, which gives you more mental energy and gives you the mental freedom to solely focus your efforts into doing it, which is the first step to finding your flow state and finding real fulfillment and enjoyment in all of your workouts. A tip I found really helpful in making the most of your flexibility and stretch out sessions is to breathe deeply into each stretch, because deep breathing whilst you stretch is the perfect way to integrate mental and physical warm-ups, getting control of your mind before you step on the ice, which is the key to gaining control of your training sessions. The stretches I perform in this off-ice workout aim to be functional and relatable to skating, so that by the time I get on the ice, I've actually stretched in a way that is effective to what I'm about to put out, especially with spins. It's so easy to think that you could do the splits lying down and think that you could do an ice spin, when actually the reality is you have to have the perfect balance of stretching and flexibility and the strength and balance to be able to do the positions, which is why it's so important that your flexibility workouts are functional and replicate the kind of movements you're trying to put out on the ice. For example, these spiral holds, these catch foot holds are much more replicable towards doing the kind of spins that you would do on the ice, as opposed to holding onto the side and doing a spiral kick. Then I moved on to doing some skipping. Honestly, skipping is the perfect all-rounder way to warm up, because your ankles are so well utilised in skating. Whether you're doing edge work, whether you're spinning, whether you're jumping, having your ankles warm and activated is something to be so aware of. The main focus of my first session today was definitely jump technique and getting used to the feeling of a loop combo. My technique was slightly altered here compared to how it had been, but I integrated my jump technique practice with some programmed section work. Morning, my gorgeous angely pops. How are we all doing at 5:09 on a Friday morning? I'm feeling very energized because yesterday I had a rest day. I might have to get used to these midweek rest days because they are fucking beautiful. So today's my long training day, which means I have 2 kind of harder sessions in the morning. Although I might have to cut the first one a bit because I have a call about an editing gig. And then I have a second session tonight. Yeah, this is like the final push of the week, but I love Fridays because it's my one day off work, so make the fucking most of it, eh? Quite honestly, I'm just over the moon grateful that it's just a bit wet outside, and it's like the other day I came out and it was absolutely freezing, and today it's just obviously been raining, but it's not cold, which is lovely. My little baby is in desperate need of some fuel because it was payday today. So I was holding off from filling her up, knowing I was about to get a nice big pay. There she is. I've only let my car, in the 3 years and like 35,000 miles I put on it at least, I've only ever let my car run to the point where its petrol light comes on once. Like, I never let it run that low, ever. So I'm gonna go and fill up, and that's also another reason, not another, I want to say another excuse, but it's not another excuse to get coffee, because I would have got coffee anyway, because that is my little vice to myself. But it's even more convenient because I'm going to get coffee anyway, not the other way around. We are on Friday, and I don't normally have my rest day on a Thursday, but it's actually been really nice to have my rest day on a Thursday this week, because Friday is my long day. Friday is the day where I don't have any part-time work to get to. I'm literally all working for myself on a Friday, so it's pretty flexible. I do my morning sessions pretty much the same, so I do my first session and then my second session, and then I have my third session, which is kind of been a bit up in the air the last couple of weeks, but it's been a bit of a mix and match in the evening, just because it gets so busy that I never really know what I can do. But it's quite nice because I have quite a long day in between, and it's all on my own accord. I work on my business, I work on my content. That's Fridays, because I kind of finish at around like 10, half 10, and then I don't have my next session until 5:15. This morning is programs. We're going to work on programs, sections, putting jumps back in, because I've been doing a lot of work on manifestation recently. I say that I'm always working on my manifestation, like it's just something I just love so much. And I actually invested in a manifestation course maybe a month ago now, and I've been going back to it. I kind of go back to it and I do go through it for like different manifestations I want to have. So right now I've been working a lot on manifestations I want in my skating career, and I've been working through that, and it just made me realize like I have so many limiting assumptions and limiting beliefs that are just stopping me so much. And there's so many, like I use so much of my past experience to like have this like mental narrative of how I think each day is going to go, and then I fall slave to that every single time. So just like, it's so nice that one of my other interests and other hobbies like plays so much into my skating, and then that also plays so much into the kind of content I produce. And I haven't updated my training tracker, and the way I just started it runs Thursday to Thursday, so I think I'm out of space, but that's fine because I'm literally just gonna get my head down and focus. Like in my mind today, not stopping to tick things off is a sign that like I'm making a really good use of my time, and I want to just get into the zone and go. Like I've got a very clear vision now of how I want each session to go and how I want each session to feel, because I said earlier on in this vlog that I feel a bit unsatisfied with my training because I feel like I could do more. And okay, yesterday I was in so much pain, all of my muscles were hurting, and I'm like, okay, it's just a different kind of training. When I am using my phone to record to watch what I'm doing, which I would highly recommend by the way, I tend to record this way, but it's given me the perfect opportunity to put side by side the off-ice work I do compared to the on-ice work I do, because I keep banging on about it, but I really don't think many of us utilise our warm-ups enough and as much as we should. Take exhausted, times it by 10, and then add a little bit on the end, and that is my body right now.